Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Drawing Board. My name is David Franklin. I'm your host. Thank you so much for tuning in. And today we're going to be talking about anxiety disorder. So again, I'm on WebMD. I'm going to run down the list here. Now there's anxiety disorder in general is more of a blanket term. There's lots of different forms of anxiety. Anxiety is, in its simplest term, is just a nervousness, a biological response, faster heart rate, tensed up muscles, clenched neck. A lot of times you'll have neck pains because you kind of stiffen your neck and everything. All these are biological and physical responses. There's the more rapid breathing, dilated eyes. All these are fight or flight responses to different situations. But anxiety is a blanket term. So there is the panic disorder, which elicits a lot of those physical responses like chest pain, rapid heartbeat, sweating, dilated eyes. Panic attack, sweating, chest pain, palpitations, strong and irregular heartbeats, feeling of choking. It can feel like you're having a heart attack brought on by anxiety. Then there's the social anxiety disorder. This is the one that we hear the most about on the internet and things like that. Social anxiety disorder can come from especially people who are, especially people who are introverted, or maybe they could be extroverted, but they had bad experiences with people in the past, and that has made them more withdrawn and shy. So the social anxiety disorder is having to be around people, always thinking, oh, how does my hair look? How am I standing the right way? Am I talking the right way? Am I saying the right things? Maybe I'm being too forward. Maybe I'm being too shy. Maybe I'm being too withdrawn. Did I wear the right clothes? Did I not wear the right clothes? And these just rapid fire in your brain, and it makes it to the point where you're supposed to be at a party or a job interview for the party to have fun, or for the job interview to get a job, and you end up spending so much time worrying that you tense up, and it becomes more of a struggle and a fear than it does the original fun or the original job interview that was supposed to be happening. And that's all brought on by fearing embarrassment or social ridicule or teasing or whatever. And then specific phobias at the bottom. If you're afraid of heights, that can cause anxiety. Let's say you have a job, you're a reporter, and every once in a while they make you go up in the news chopper, and you can handle it, but the whole time you can kind of hear that your voice is maybe wavering a little bit as you're talking about the traffic situation down below, or maybe you're back in the studio and just the appearance of the camera is of the height is messing with you. Spiders. A spider could show up in your house and you get afraid. I have a friend who insists that spiders jump on him and can tackle him. He's the most ridiculous human being I've ever met. But again, strong phobias can elicit those sort of anxiety-filled responses. So, what are the symptoms of the blanket term anxiety disorder, not just social anxiety? Panic, fear, uneasiness, problems sleeping, which is a common one for a lot of people. Cold or sweaty hands or feet, shortness of breath, heart palpitations, not being still or calm, dry mouth, numbness or tingling in the hands and feet, nausea, muscle tension, or dizziness. And I think it's important to explain that you can have anxiety without having an anxiety disorder. Disorder essentially means it is not called for in that situation. So if we're going to talk about, let's say you get really nervous when you're taking tests, depending on the degree to which you're experiencing the anxiety, that it could be totally called for because it's a test, it's a challenge, and you're going to feel nervous there. Let's say you're going into the championship baseball game, you're going for the state championship. It's going to make you nervous. You're going to have some sort of form of anxiety. I used to play baseball in high school. I used to act. Same thing. You've got opening night. You got to go out on that stage. People call it jitters. People say it's excitement. And anxiety can show up in different ways. It puts you into more of a fight or flight response because in your fight or flight mode, you take in more information, your brain's running faster, your heart's running faster, you are more ready to respond to different stimuli. It gives you a better chance of surviving, a better chance of thriving. anxiety has its purpose. Anxiety disorders are crippling. And so the point there being, yeah, you can still be nervous in your job interview, but if you get to the point where you're not able to function in the job interview, that's a different thing. So even social anxiety has its own points. Am I saying the wrong things? Am I going to offend someone here? Am I just spouting off what's ever going in my head? Anxiety has a place of maintaining a certain social order, things like that. But the problem is when it's taken to too much of a degree. So it almost falls on a spectrum. This isn't necessarily psychologically true, or they may not have a spectrum for anxiety. But there's normal anxiety here, there's questionable anxiety here, and then there's 100% sure you have anxiety disorder over here. And again, I talked about this last week in my PTSD episode. If you think that you have an anxiety disorder and really you are just an anxious person, it really devalues the people who actually do have the problem, or it makes their problem seem like it's less big of a deal. So yeah, that's a quick message. So on mental illnesses, I have the psychopath spectrum, which I've already talked about psychopath so many times. I have anxiety, narcissism, PTSD. I've already talked about 2 of those. So if you want to see the psychopath spectrum, I may do it. Other than that, all that I have left of the normal drawing board videos before I officially switch over to having the Scholastic Gentleman on one episode and turning this into like my vlog personal channel. I'm going to be talking about, is introversion a real thing? Myers-Briggs personality test, alternate personality test, the accuracy of those personality tests, EN types, ES types, IN types, IS types, extroverts, introverts, and some of the stereotypes that go along with all the different types. So, thank you so much. And we only have about a dozen more episodes before I officially cut off the drawing board thing. It's been a great time, and I'm still going to do those types of videos. I'm just kind of going into a rebranding. So because this channel has turned into more things like the Myers-Briggs and things like that, which seem to be popular with the crowd that I've attracted on this channel, I'm going to, it's less of the hardcore science that I used to do. I was talking about tesseracts and building trampolines out of note cards, and I was doing the physics of, can you hang from an airplane? I was calculating whether or not your shoulders can take that kind of stress. And I really like that sort of thing. I want to do that, but based on the unintentional branding of this channel, just the way that it's gone based on the requests I've gotten from people, that doesn't seem like what you want to see here on this channel. It seems more like an edutainment, an education entertainment channel, rather than a pure education channel, primary education that happens to entertain. So I'm rebranding, sending the science and philosophy history over to the other channel, the Scholastic Gentleman, which I don't have any videos up for yet, but I will. I'll totally drop you a link when that happens. Until then, I still have a dozen more episodes I have to grind through, and then it's going to be mostly vlog videos. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we're going to see you next week. Thank you, guys.